Welcome everyone to the Open webinars. My name is Todd Maxwell, and along with me is Sam, one of our North American sales executives that we have here. Today is May 7th, 2013, and this topic is about how to move from active-passive to active-active mode in DSV7. So some of the topics that we're going to be covering, and then we're going to do this live, is we're going to review the active-passive mode in the current environment that we've got it set up. Then we're going to apply the active-active key. And what we're going to do is delete the existing replication task and create the replication task. And of course, add the task to the failover with the virtual IP address, and then proceed to start the failover services. With that, we're going to go right into the DSV7. If you see here, I'm running in the failover manager. Currently, we're running status is OK. So I have two systems up here. If you notice, I have Node A on this tab here, and of course, I've got Node B. I like a good naming convention because it helps organize, and it's for administrative rights. It's also good as well. So before we do anything, we really want to verify, is the volume replication, which is underneath the failover, is it consistent? Because if it's not, you can have some problems. So I highly recommend going into status and then going into tasks. And what we want to be able to verify is, let's refresh it so it gives a little update. Here we go. So what we want to look for is that where you see where it says source volume is consistent here, and of course consistent here as well for the destination. You want to make sure both of them are consistent. Keep in mind when you're in an active passive right now, one node is all source for the volumes and the other node is destination. So it looks like both of them are fine because I only have two iSCSI volumes being replicated. And let's verify and show everybody that in configuration volume manager and in volume replication, what we're seeing here in an active passive setup is that one node is all source volumes, and of course if we look at node B, right now we just switched over, it's all destination volumes. In the active passive, what we're doing is going to be doing the load balance where one node is going to have source volumes and the other node is going to have destination volumes. So in order to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to stop the failover, because you will be needing to stop the failover to be able to perform this, but it only takes a few minutes to be able to do what we're doing, or what you can do to switch over once you purchase the active license for the feature pack.
Now, Todd, do you have to restart the system to do all this?
No, no, you don't. That's the good thing. It's that now you will if, let's say, you have if you're running in a trial mode, and so you purchase a product key, and then you'll get that product key and you'll enter that product key in the help about. Here, this is extension key loader. It'll be on the bottom. I've already have a key in here, but usually your typical trial key, you're going to have that, but once you get your product key, you will have to restart. So it's a good question. But when you're doing basically we're going to go ahead and load up right now the active keys, and we'll show that you don't have to do a restart. So let's go ahead and find that. I've got me a text file here. Let's copy that. So I've got one for node A.
So it's not the same key for both nodes?
No, no, they're different. See, that's just, if you notice here, we don't even have the dashes. So we'll go ahead and apply. So looks like on that one, I'm going to have to get the proper key. So this is a good question you've asked. So we look right here, is that LGUY is the key we want to match up to. So here, to match up to your question here, I'm on node B. So I accidentally grabbed that, so it's a good question you brought up. So here, LGY is married to this active key right here. See, if you notice, the other one didn't work, so they're married to them.
So you all sell the keys in pairs then, right?
Well, right. What you're doing is you're purchasing. You see now it states that the active is alive and is working and licensed to this serial number, to this product key here. So when you buy the feature pack, it's providing two keys for both the serial numbers.
I see.
Right, so it's a one-time purchase.
Okay.
So now we're going to go to node A, and there's no restart, as you see, only with the product key. Or if you're, let's say, I have 17 terabytes, I want to purchase another 8 terabytes, and I'm expanding. I keep doing this, WBIZ. Okay, I probably had a space. So that could be a common issue. There's that space. So, showing all the mistakes that can be done. If you want to make sure you don't have any spaces, make sure that you have the right active key that matches your product key. Okay, so now we have both of the licenses in place. What we're going to do right now is we're going to go over to the setup and failover, and we're going to stop the failover services. So bear in mind, if you have virtual machines, you want to be able to stop all that. If you have any connectivity, you want to stop all that, because you're not going to be able to connect to the virtual IP addresses where your initiators will be connected to. So let's go ahead and stop it.
That's all you got to do, just press stop?
Correct. So it's going to take stopping, and it's going to take a few seconds. Once that's done, then what we're going to do is go down to the bottom of the failover manager, and we're going to go ahead and remove that task that we have that's in source mode, and we're also going to remove one of the virtual IP addresses. So now it's done. Here again, you know, we have the ping nodes set up. We can leave those where they are at. The auxiliaries we can leave.
Now the ping nodes, why are they important?
Well, they're actually part of, they're like a pseudo member of the failover. So it serves as a pseudo member to be able to answer ICMP requests. So if a ping node, one ping node were to fail, you won't have failover. You won't be able to, it won't move the resources over. But if you had all ping nodes fail, then it would move the resources over to, let's say, the node B.
Okay.
We'll come back to that too. Let's go on down, because those are good questions that I like to ask from participants that join the show here. Here what we're going to do is we're going to remove one of the virtual IP addresses because I want to do load balancing. So the load balancing will be, I'll put the other virtual IP address of ETH4 on the local node and select it for the remote node to be used for that other virtual IP address. And of course I love MPIO, using MPIO with especially with block level with iSCSI. Now we'll go to our iSCSI resources, and here you'll see both of them in there. We want to remove this one because we want to put that one in source mode on node B. So let's go ahead and remove him. Now at this point what we want to do is go to the volume replication. So we'll let that complete while it's doing that. Then once that's complete, then we'll go ahead and go into configuration, and it's done. Volume manager, volume replication. Here, being that this is on source mode because it's active passive, what we want to do is be able to take LV001 and put as destination, and of course on node B we're going to put it as source. Okay? So let's go on down. Typically if you had, let's say 15 or 20 tasks, you may want to just go ahead and just disconnect the host binding because it'll be a lot easier. Just go ahead and recreate your tasks. It won't take that long. And by the way, just the replication piece is real quick. You're going to see that real quick here. Here we're going to stop the task. And then of course we're going to go ahead and remove it. Now we're not deleting in the data. It's just the task. So all your email that you've been dying to keep is not going to go anywhere, so you'll be fine. So all you're doing is this, and you'll notice that it gives you the ability now that you can create a new replication task, but here what we want to do is set it for destination. And now if you notice on node B, we can go back there, of course it's sending alerts, as it should, and you definitely want to have your email set up because you want to be able to know if somebody made a change that you're being notified, or if there's an incident that it updates you. So here we're going to put LV01 0001 to source, hit apply, and we're still leaving the host binding up. Alright, now we're going to go create our replication task. So we'll call it vrep for volume replication 2. So obviously it's selecting the iSCSI volume that is available and that matches both sides. So if that's, let's say, 2 terabyte, the other side will be 2 terabyte.
You can't have them not matching.
Right, you don't want them not mismatched.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm putting up 500 megabytes for the sync source, this is in the beginning, this is not sustained, is that this is for the beginning. And I have a 10 gig E in here. So I'm using the Intel 10 gig E X540, I believe. And here, we'll just go ahead and create it, let that cook in the oven. Here is that you're going to be able to give it as much bandwidth as possible. If you're, let's say, having many tasks and you're running them, you may want to divide up the bandwidth a little bit. The most I really see engineers they'll put about 600. That's the max you're going to be able to get out of because you're running DRBD underneath here. And with 10 gig E, you're probably going to get any more than 600 meg. Now, if you had multiple tasks and they're replicating, and let's say you had 10, you would divide it up. Okay. If you're going to fire them off all pretty much at the same time. So here what you're looking for is that it created a start time right here. And again, you want to verify the consistency. Of course, it gives you a system update. It'll let you know the event that it's taking, such as the connection mode to remote node. Now it's going into consistent state.
So why is the consistency so important?
Well, let's get rid of some of this because it's old messages. Let's say you want to be able to, let's say you go to the the failover service. You add the task and it says it's not completed yet.
Okay. Because
you have to let this complete, so that way you're replicating everything and it's done synchronously. So you're replicating block by block, but what you want to get is everything consistent before you add it to the failover task.
Okay.
And that's what we're showing. If it still has time to replicate, you want to wait till it's done before adding it. Mm-hmm. You could do that right when the failover service is enabled. All right, so we pretty much completed this. Now, what we're going to do is go back into the node A, and here to show you. There's more event messages. Here, notice how it's grayed out and locked down. That's what you're looking for.
Okay.
You know, if it's not, then check your steps before that. Now, if we go into setup failover, here again, we want to leave the defaults. We'll talk a little bit about that. And let's go ahead. We already have our task in here. And of course, we have our virtual IP address. This is going to be on node A, what's called the local node. If you see this right here, right on here in the resource pool manager, it gives the server's identity, host name, and of course, the local node. So here, it's why it's important I do good naming convention, like node A, node B. So we're going to leave this right here. Again, you can envision having more than one virtual IP address. You're going to need additional network interface controllers. So here, more NICs. I could add more and do MPIO. You could do bonding with NICs and do MPIO mix. So that way you have more path failover than you do just with MPIO. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a virtual IP address, which was the previous one that we deleted. So let's go 192.168.11.11. And I used previously, it was ETH4 for both systems. So the local node is ETH4. I kind of match them up. And of course, the remote node is ETH4 using the same NICs. They're going to be same network. So here, I'm just going to put 255 for my broadcast, my netmask. Broadcast, you don't have to. If you do, then it would be similar to 192.168.11.255.
Okay.
Okay. And now we'll go ahead and add this. So now this virtual IP will be for the remote node. Now after this, we're going to go into the iSCSI resources, and then what we'll do is we'll verify our ping notes. And as we stated before, the ping node serves as a pseudo member of the failover. So it will answer ICMP packet requests from the other node, for these two nodes. All right, now let's go into our iSCSI resources. We'll add our targets. Here's our target. Notice how I named it?
I see.
It's like node B. I want to be able to, because node B, if that's my source on node B, if we look over here on node B, and I go to the volume replication, this is my source. So for active-active to be able to utilize the load balancing effectively, this is where I want to be able to put source and then be able to identify which one it is. So that's going to be on node B as my source. I'm going to apply on that. So you can have multiple iSCSI tasks, and you want to kind of even them out a little bit. Typically, there are engineers that will have a very fast system, and they'll put the local resources and tasks on those servers and put the lighter ones on the slower server.
Okay.
For financial reasons conserving. You also don't want to have many LUNs in the target. You want to create, one LUN per target. You get better performance. By the way, it's noted as well in our notes and online help guide here. If we scroll up, there are some failover important notes, and you click on that. But what I'm basically meaning is and by the way, we'll let that start up because it'll only take a second because we're ready to start it up. What that means is if I'm in iSCSI Target Manager, of course it gives the events, I want to be able to put an iSCSI volume in each target. It's too easy to create a new target. Creating new targets is simple, and you can put your iSCSI volume in that target. Putting more than one in there, especially in failover events, you can see a performance hit. So you really want to be cognizant of that. But you can have up to 255 targets. Okay. You can put, there are some instances where engineers will put multiple, what we call LUNs, and these are the iSCSI volumes in the target. But mostly that I see for the failover, you really want to keep them one involved per target. So I would not want to use LV003, and you notice it's locked down. I can't detach it or attach it. So I really want to be able to create another target and then be able to use that. And here you'll see that I'm able to attach it. So he's now assigned to target 2. All right, let's go back to the setup failover. We see this, it's running okay now. So just one last few notes, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Previously, before we started the webinar, it showed 2 out of 3 reachable ping nodes. I was mentioning to Sam brought up to my attention, well, what happened here? I have seen cases where engineers will, or customers, and what they'll do is they'll see this in red and say not reachable. And what that means is, and I did this on purpose, but later realized I didn't notice how it would really come out to be, but 1.54 is one of our employees here at the office. Well, he went to lunch and basically, shut down his PC, for whatever security reasons. So is that really a good ping node? No.
Probably not.
Right, exactly. So if I have, let's say 1.40, and let's say 1.40 is my VMware server where I have UPSs on there, I'm not going to let that server go down. So I have some type of backup, and then of course I have a Windows server here, and of course I do have gateways and routers and firewalls that I can add to this list, which would be actually ideal for a ping node. If I were to lose all ping nodes on this local node, what's going to happen is that it's going to send that message through the auxiliary port. It's going to say, hey, node B, are you able to do ping nodes? Can you see them? He'll say yes. Instantly, he's going to move all the resources over to node B.
I see.
So what is down here on the bottom for its resources, the local node showing the iSCSI resources, that will be moved over. So it'll sort of look like, and I'll move it over and show you. So right now, this is on the local node. Okay, he's source, right, for the volume replication. See, source mode. It's connected. Now, it'll simulate this. So if we lose all ping nodes on node A, here's what's going to happen. So what's going to happen? All the resources will move over to node B. Until you resolve your issue, then you can move the resources back over to node A. Now, you're still writing data, because you're writing data through this virtual IP address that's been established between node A and node B. So there's no data loss. And then there's connectivity to data that still continues. So it's really not, it's what it's designed to do. Okay. So it's very slick and very robust in how to do that. So and then we can move it, move back to local node and switch them around.
I see.
So I hope that helps on basically, I think I'm not sure if I mentioned the auxiliary. Yeah, auxiliary paths, you really want to be able to select 2 auxiliary paths. Really recommend is the volume replication NIC. So this is my volume replication NIC, which is ETH0. And of course, I'm using the lowest NIC that is really not doing much. So I'm using what's called, this is my web GUI NIC. If you notice the IP up here, is 1.220 with a colon port 448. So these are less active.
I see.
So I don't want too much activity, so that's why I'm selecting them. The volume replication is important to select. Again, this is it provides the periodic heartbeat packages to the remote nodes. So it's important to have that and important to select the volume replication NIC as well as another NIC that's not being used much, because you really don't want to be. It's also doing UDP packages too. I think we made it pretty clear, and it's how it works, and I think it's pretty simple. Again, everybody, if you have any questions, you can always go to support, and in here be able to click on the support page and send in a pre-sales question. Also, you can view all the videos which are stored right here. If we go right down or select on the tab bar and in the support tab, then just scrolling down to webcast and videos. So all the videos are stored here and recorded.
All right.
So thanks, Sam, for joining. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Till next time. Bye-bye.